Monday. The bravery and professionalism of police and paramedics and fire in situations like these is always greatly appreciated. The flags outside City Hall have been lowered to half-mast in honor of those affected by the tragic incident, and I've written our letter of condolence to Mayor John Tory on behalf of our City Council. Les drapeaux à l'extérieur de l'hôtel de ville ont été baissés et en heure.
We have put the city at half-mast.
For the victims, their families, the first responders, and for the City of Toronto. If you could remain standing, we'll ask our colleague, Councillor Chernyshenko, to introduce our very special guest, who will sing our national anthem.
Andrea, if you'd like to come down now, please.
Does she know where to go?
Yep. I am pleased to introduce Andrea McWilliams. Andrea is a soprano, a recent graduate from the University of Ottawa, having completed her undergraduate degree in voice and composition. She participates frequently in local theatre, teaches voice and piano, and leads a family choir at her church. She's delighted to be here today to sing the national anthem. Please welcome Andrea McWilliams.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command, car ton bras sait porter l'épée, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Well, thank you very, very much for that beautiful rendition, Angela McWilliams. Well, this morning I'm proud to be joined by two very special guests. Madison Richmeyer, a grade 10 student at A.Y. Jackson Secondary School in Canada, and Jackson Milner, a grade 10 student at St. Peter's Catholic High School in Orleans, were both selected as the winners of our first annual Mayor for a Day contest. On behalf of the City of Ottawa and my council colleagues, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome these young students to their very first council meeting and congratulate them on being chosen the mayors for the day. They've already had a very busy morning. We started off at CTV Morning Live with a live interview. They got to meet Annette Gerner and Henry Burris. And then we had breakfast with the federal minister responsible for housing and attended their conference. And they'll be going to the OLIP meeting that we have later, touring the LRT, and also meeting the Prime Minister at the Innovation Centre this afternoon. Au nom de la ville d'Ottawa et de mes...
On behalf of the City of Ottawa and my colleagues, I would like to welcome Madison and Jackson for their very first City Council meeting here, and to congratulate them for having been appointed mayor for a day.
Were invited to submit essays or videos that provided 3 ideas that could improve the City of Ottawa. A total of 93 high school students from the Ottawa region submitted essays or YouTube videos with more than 250 ideas on how to make Ottawa a better place to live. Plus de 250 idées.
More than 250 ideas were submitted by the students of the region.
Organized in partnership with Ottawa's Youth Engagement Committee, OYAC, which Councillor Fleury is very involved with. And we have members of OYAC with us. If they could give us a wave in the audience, thank you very much. The Mayor's office was presented with a list of the top 20 submissions, and I was happy to select Madison and Jackson based on their tangible and pragmatic ideas that can further improve the City of Ottawa initiatives and services. Jackson's ideas included converting street lights to LED technology, retrofitting city parks and outdoor public spaces, and creating multi-purpose gathering spaces in libraries and modernizing their technology. And Madison's ideas included adding more OC Transpo bus routes, adding more bike paths, and creating more outdoor spaces and sports facilities for youth around the city to promote a healthy lifestyle. Youth Ottawa's Ottawa Youth Engagement Committee, or OYAC, is a group of 18 passionate young adults between the ages of 15 and 24 who are committed to making Ottawa a better, safer, more equal place for all youth. Youth make a 1-year commitment to being part of this committee, attending monthly meetings and working with various community organizations to reach out to the kids in Ottawa. All of the ideas that have been submitted from the participants of the contest will help inform OYAC to further develop their youth action plan as part of their current citywide youth consultations. And last fall, I had the honor of meeting with members of OYAC to talk about new ways to get high school students involved in the democratic process, and it was that day in September that the Mayor for a Day contest came to life. C'est grâce à cette rencontre que les...
It's thanks to that meeting that we've seen this contest take part.
I'd like to recognize Ian Bigeman, Executive Director, Ibrahim Musa, Director of Communications, Youth Ottawa, Jamil Jackson Rogers, Coordinator Arts and Music Program, and one of our Poet Laureates as well, Jory Amershaw, Facilitator, Youth Ottawa, DILA, which is a Day of Information for a Lifetime of Action program, Emma Buchanan, Coordinator for OYAC, and members of OYAC, Angelica, Liam, and Fatima. I'm sincerely grateful for all the work that Youth Ottawa does to engage young people in our city. J'apprécie sincèrement votre bon...
I appreciate sincerely your good work.
Shown by members of OYAC who proposed this idea many months ago. This contest was a joint effort that could not have been made possible without the leadership of these young leaders. I'd like to share a message on their behalf. Quote, Youth Ottawa is grateful to Mayor Watson and city staff for collaborating with the Youth Engagement Committee. The results of this year's Mayor for a Day contest will be used along with the committee's consultations to inform their next action plan, which will focus on unrepresented and oppressed groups of youth in our city. Youth Ottawa staff are very impressed with the initiative showed by OYAC in this contest and their ambition to amplify youth voice at the municipal level, close quote. It's partnerships like this that help Ottawa become a better place to live for everyone, young and old. And once again, please give a warm welcome to Madison and Jackson, the mayors for the day. Congratulations. Is your grandfather here?
Yes.
And I just, both of the students were asked if they ever wanted to be mayors or run for mayor, and they said no. I didn't take that personally. But Jackson's grandfather was a city councillor for Gloucester, Ken Vowles. And Ken is with us here today. There he is. Ken, come on up here. Ken, some of you know, I think the East End Council know, Ken was a councillor in Gloucester with Mayor Kane and also wrote a column for the Orleans paper for many, many years. So you've got some political blood in you, so maybe you might want to run one day, Jackson. So we're now going to go down and give the City Builder Award. You're going to join us? We're all set? Okay. So it's an honor to invite Tony Mariani to the podium. Now, Tony is dressed up a little differently today. He normally doesn't have the big chops and the hair, but we have the Elvis Sighting Society is regrouping again, and Tony is one of the great supporters, and this looks like your grandson. What's his name?
Anthony.
Hi, Anthony. How are you doing? How old are you? 6. What school do you go to? St. Cecilia. And are you happy to be out of school today to support your granddad? Yeah. I'd also welcome Tony's Canada South Ward Councillor Alan Hubley and Councillor Catherine McKenney, who represents Somerset Ward, home to St. Anthony Church and the festivities of Italian Week, which Tony is very involved with. So welcome, Alan and Catherine. And I want to extend a warm welcome to friends and family of Tony who are here today. This award recognizes people who have demonstrated an extraordinary commitment to making our city a better place today and for the future through outstanding volunteerism or exemplary action. Tony is recognized for being a hands-on volunteer, for being a leader in the Italian community for many. He has worked tirelessly for the Canadian Italian community and has always been ready to lend his organizing skills and enthusiasm for a good cause. Tony is the CEO of Margard Builders Limited, but he's committed much of his time towards giving back to the community in many different capacities. In particular, he's been involved in making Italian Week in Ottawa a fantastic event that attracts visitors and locals alike. Since 1975, the Ottawa Italian Week Festival Organizing Committee has set up the festival every June to offer everyone an experience of being Italian and celebrating all that is Italian: art, culture, cuisine, of course, and history. Tony has played a key role in organizing the festival each year and has seen the event grow tremendously over the number of years, particularly the last 2 years as you've been the chair. Family, friends, and colleagues of Tony's know how much he enjoys giving back to the community, and since 2006, he has organized the annual St. Anthony's Church Gala, and it is quite the event. You can't fit any more people in there. It's so successful, and has consistently been the church's most successful fundraiser. He has been the driving force behind raising more than $1 million in recent years for the children and families that benefit from the Make-A-Wish Canada Foundation. His leadership and involvement in so many initiatives is greatly appreciated by his friends and community members, and I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of all of the mayors to thank Tony for his many contributions to the community and the entire city. J'aimerais saisir cette occasion.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank Tony for his many contributions to the community and the entire city.
On behalf of Councillor Hubley and Councillor McKenney and our two mayors to present you with this meeting's Mayor's City Builder Award. Tony, thank you for the great work you continue to do in the community. Congratulations. Come on over here. So why don't we all get out in front of the podium here? Come on over here.
I'd like to thank everyone for being here this morning. I'm humbled and honored to receive this award. It's always been my pleasure to give back. The community has been extremely good to me. I came to this country in 1956 from Italy. My father was a chef down at the Prescott Hotel. Many of you remember his famous square pizzas and meatball sandwiches. And we just hung out on Preston Street thinking it was the right thing to do. We did everything down at the church. St. Anthony was a calling card for a lot of us Italians that came from Italy. The church was our foundation that kept us out of jail. And Father Jerome, Father De Palma used to instill being good Christians and to give back and to be a good family man. And so my grandson's with me here today. I'm extremely proud to have lived a nice life and given back, and proud to do anything we have to do to be there for the community. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations.
So roll call, please, Madam Deputy Clerk.
Conseiller Manette.
Present.
Councillor Middick. Councillor Harder.
Here.
Councillor Wilkinson.
Present.
Councillor El Shantiri.
Present.
Councillor Kadri.
Present.
Councillor Taylor.
Here.
Councillor Shirelli.
Here.
Councillor Eglai.
Here.
Councillor Deans.
Here.
Councillor Tierney.
Present.
Conseiller Fleury.
Ici.
Councillor Nussbaum.
Here.
Councillor McKenney.
Present.
Councillor Leeper.
Here.
Councillor Brockington.
Here.
Councillor Chernyshenko.
Présent.
Conseiller Cloutier.
Present.
Conseiller Blais.
Here.
Councillor DeRose.
Here.
Councillor Moffat.
Here.
Councillor Kakish.
Present.
Councillor Hubley.
Here.
Mayor Watson.
Ici.
Le quorum est tient, Monsieur le maire.
Thank you.
You have the quorum?
On the process verbal pour la réunion le 11 avril 2018, meeting of 11th of April 2018. Carried. Declaration of interests, including those originally rising from prior meetings. Déclaration de conflit d'intérêt. See none. Communications as presented. Regrets. Councillor Middick has sent his regrets. He will not be here for today's meeting. Motion to introduce reports. Motion portant présentation de rapport. Councillor Nussbaum, seconded by Councillor Deans, please.
That Ottawa Board of Health reports 14 and 14A, Community and Protective Services Committee Report 31, Planning Committee Report 61A, and the reports from the City Clerk and Solicitor's Office entitled Status Update, Council Inquiries and Motions for the period ending April 20th, 2018, and Summary of Oral and Written Public Submissions for items subject to the Planning Act explanation requirements at the City Council meeting of April 11th, 2018, be received and considered, and that pursuant to subsection 35(6) of Procedural Bylaw 2016-377, Council receive and consider Planning Committee Report 62.
On the motion, carried. Reports, rapport, Ottawa Board of Health, Conseil de santé d'Ottawa, rapport numéro 14. Ottawa Public Health 2017 Annual Report, rapport annuel de 2017 de santé publique d'Ottawa, received. Item number 2 is Ottawa Board of Health Report 14A in camera. Does anyone wish to go in camera for the appointment of the Medical Officer of Health? No? Okay. So the Board of Health recommendations that Council approve the appointment of Dr. Vera Etches as the City of Ottawa's new Medical Officer of Health, and 2, subject to approval of recommendation 1, that Council transmits its recommendation for approval of the appointment to the Minister of Health and Long-Term Care. Councillor Kadri, Chair Board of Health, would like to speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And I'd like to begin by taking this opportunity to thank our outgoing Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Israel Levy, for his extensive service to the City of Ottawa and Ottawa Public Health over the last 10 years. Under Dr. Levy's leadership, OPH has seen the establishment of Ottawa Board of Health being granted exemplary standing by the Accreditation Canada and consistently improved programs and services to meet the needs of the community. Dr. Levy leaves OPH in a period of great strength which has continued to grow in the recent months with the interim MOH, Dr. Vera Etches, who has demonstrated poise, professionalism, and thoughtful judgment since taking on the interim position. With that said, I am thrilled to formally extend my welcome to Dr. Etches for her appointment as Medical Officer of Health for Ottawa Public Health, pending the approval of the Ministry of Health. This appointment follows the unanimous recommendation from the Board of Health Selection Subcommittee for Dr. Etches' outstanding performance and a record with Ottawa Public Health. I would like to thank Mayor Watson, my council colleagues, City Manager Steve Kanalakis, and members of the Ottawa Board of Health for this decision. In my farewell address to Dr. Levy, I said that actions speak louder than words. And I believe that Dr. Etches' performance in the acting medical officer health role speaks volume in demonstrating just how important strong leadership, effective mentoring, and internal growth are to the success of Ottawa Public Health and public health initiatives across the city. Under Dr. Etches' leadership, the city signed its first ever agreement with Champlain Lynn 2 weeks ago, building on an existing collaborative efforts to strengthen our partnership and improve health outcomes for Ottawa residents. Dr. Etches has also played a valuable role in managing the City of Ottawa's response to the developing opioid crisis, working well in establishing an interim supervised injection site to better protect our most vulnerable citizens. And with the nationwide legalization of cannabis drawing ever closer, Ottawa Public Health is already hard at work at analyzing the potential risks that we are municipally will face so that we may be best prepared to keep our residents safe. Dr. Etches offers a slew of unique insights and knowledge, including an understanding of the inner workings of City Hall, the City of Ottawa as a whole, the public health challenges we face, and where we are at presently in addressing them. Moreover, Dr. Etches is well known by all in the Ottawa Public Health staff and has the strong rapport necessary in motivating and challenging staff to achieve excellence. The strength seen in her over the years by the Board of Health has never ceased to impress. Additionally, her professionalism in communicating with representatives of the board and City Hall is indicative of the standards we as city officials would expect from a position of such esteem. And she's able to do so in both of the city's official languages. I would like to thank Dr. Etches for all her hard work and dedication during the interim period. As we have already come to see, I believe that as a city we can come to expect great things of Dr. Etches in years to come. Thank you, Mayor Watson.
Great. Thank you very much, Councillor. So on the motion as presented, carried.
Thank
and
you.
I believe, is Dr. Etches with us? Congratulations. Of the City of Ottawa. So congratulations and thank you, Councillor Caudry and the Board of Health for such a wise choice. City Clerk and Solicitor, Greffier Municipal et Avocat Général, status update, council inquiries and motions for the period ending April 20th. Rapport de situation received. Committee reports, Community and Protective Service Committee Report number 31, rapport numéro 31 de Comité des services communautaires et de la protection. Item number 4, Child Care and Early Years Transformation, transformation des services de garde d'enfants et à la petite enfance. Councillor Deans, as Chair of CPS, had a very good briefing on this, and I ask her to say a few words.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And, you know, it's always nice when we get a good news story on childcare. And a lot of the credit for that certainly goes to our hardworking staff, as well as the province of Ontario, who has provided us with additional funding. In 2017, we received an additional $13.6 million. And in 2018, an additional $10.3 million, which allowed us to increase access to affordability, including additional fee subsidies. The province also provided $4.4 million to offset the cost of minimum wage increases on service providers. Since 2017, the city has provided nearly 950 additional children with a fee subsidy and found them a childcare space. And an additional 1,000 children are expected to benefit from the additional funding, significantly reducing or perhaps even eliminating the waiting list that we have in childcare. So great news for families in our community. I can also tell you that the city is going to be creating a 5-year plan for childcare and early year services, and we will do that by June 30th, 2019. So thank you to our staff for all the work that they do in the childcare services field. I think we are really doing a lot better in serving our families in this community with childcare. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Councillor. Does anyone else wish to speak on the issue? So on the report is presented. Carried. Congratulations. Item number 5, Ottawa Fire Services 2017 Annual Report, Rapport annuel de 2017 de Service des Incendies. And before we consider the annual report of the Ottawa Fire Service, I'd like to say a few words of introduction. Joining us for his final presentation to the committee is Fire Chief, or to Council rather, is Fire Chief Jerry Pingiatori. Jerry, Chief Pingiatori, welcome. Ayant dédié plus de 40 années.
I've been dedicated more than 40 years to the fire department. Jerry Pingiatori joins us in order to deliver his last presentation to the committee.
years of his career to fire services, and he has served as fire chief for the nation's capital for the past 3 years. Chief Pinjatori has shown solid leadership in moving the service forward in the ever-changing field of firefighting. The service has adopted new technologies, including the automatic vehicle routing recommendation project and mobile data terminals to better serve residents. Ottawa Fire Services has also collaborated on the multi-year Fire Dynamics project, which aims to develop a national curriculum to improve modern firefighting. Chief Pinjatori has been a strong advocate for mental health, making great strides to provide the people, his people, with the support they need. Le chef Pinjatori est un ardent défenseur.
He's an ardent defender of mental health and has done much in order to provide the support his team needs.
The service launched a peer support program for mental health. Firefighter recruits, along with their partners or family members, participated in a support session to help prevent PTSD. And last year, volunteer peers were trained on how to provide their colleagues with confidential, emotional, and social support in a safe, non-judgmental environment. Under Chief Pinjatori's leadership, Ottawa has also gained 2 new fire stations, which opened earlier this year to better serve our suburban areas. Je tiens à remercier le Chief.
I'd like to thank Chief Pinjatori, who has accomplished remarkable work, and I would like to wish him the best during his retirement.
Outstanding work he has done, keeping our residents safe throughout his career, and I extend on behalf of all members of Council our very best wishes, Chief, on your retirement. And I want to say thank you for your tremendous leadership as a result of the 2 firefighters that were injured in Stittsville. We're very pleased that we received information from you that the second firefighter is now out of hospital and on the mend, which is great news, and we send our best wishes to both firefighters who were injured in fighting that blaze in Stittsville. Chief, it's been an honor and a pleasure to work with you. We wish you the very best in your retirement, and we'll hand the floor over to you. Congratulations. Félicitations.
Thank you, Mayor Watson. I certainly just want to say that it's been an honor and a privilege to serve this wonderful community we call Ottawa. Thank you very much.
Does anyone have any questions for the Chief? Last chance. No.
Efficient.
Have a life.
So on the Fire Service Annual Report, received, and thank you very, very much, Chief. Congratulations. Planning Committee Report number 61A. As I mentioned, we're having troubles with the lights, or we didn't pay our hydro bill, one or the other. Report number 61A, traffic signal for Terry Fox Drive and Huntsville Drive. Carried. Planning Committee Report number 62, rapport numéro 62 du Comité de l'Urbanisme, Official Plan Amendment 4305, 4345, and 4375 McKenna, Casey Drive, and 3285, 3288, 3300, 3305, and 3330 Boris O'Kane Road, modification de plan officiel. Carried. Bulk consent agenda. Does anyone wish to remove anything from the bulk consent agenda that is presented? On the bulk consent agenda as presented? Carried. Disposition of items approved by committees under delegated authority suite à donner des articles ratifiés par les comités en vertu de pouvoirs délégués. Received. Motion to adopt reports. Motion portant adoption de rapport. Councillor Nussbaum.
That Ottawa Board of Health Reports 14 and 14A, Community and Protective Services Report 31, Planning Committee Report 61A and 62, and the reports from the City Clerk and Solicitor's Office entitled Status Update Council Inquiries and Motions for the period ending April 20th, 2018, and Summary of Oral and Written Public Submissions for items subject to the Planning Act explanation requirements at the City Council meeting of April 11th, 2018, be received and adopted as amended.
On the motion, carried. Motions requiring suspension of the rules of procedure. Motion exigeant la suspension des règles de procédure. Councillor Chernyshenko, seconded by Councillor Cloutier, with respect to a waiver of fireworks bylaw for use of smoke devices at TD Place during Fury Games, and the season has begun. So on suspension of the rules. Carried. Councillor Chernyshenko, please.
Thank you. Members of Council may recall last year that we granted permission to OSEG to do a pilot with these smoke devices that apparently some of their most ardent soccer supporters, the clubs, wanted to have introduced here in Ottawa. They're quite common, particularly in Toronto and at other stadiums. And as you will see in the whereases, they were piloted in 2017 and received no complaints. The permission to use them this year has expired, and they would like to be able to do so by the time of their next home game, which is the 28th, and so hence bringing this forward today. So the whereas, as I mentioned, OSEG piloted smoke devices in 2017 and received no complaints, whereas Ottawa Fire Services has been consulted on the smoke devices and believes these devices can be used safely. Therefore, be it resolved, the City of Ottawa grant an exemption to bylaw 2003-237 to OSEG to allow for the use of smoke devices for Fury games between April 28th for home games during the 2018 season and 2 playoff games if required, and granting OSEG an exemption from Section 17 of the bylaw, which requires a permit application to be made 30 days in advance to the proposed use, subject to OSEG meeting all other permit requirements of the bylaw, including Section 18, to the satisfaction of the fire chief, who I guess we can ask if he's satisfied if we need to today. Thank you.
So on the motion, carried. Are there any other motions requiring suspension of the rules of procedure? Councillor Wilkinson, please.
Yeah. Mr. Ware, I have a motion that's in for notice of motion, but because the event that we'd like to announce it is on Monday, I was wondering if we could suspend the rules and do it today. This is the naming of a park after Bill Terron, who was has the tributes being on Monday night.
Yeah, this is there's a celebration of Mr. Terron's life next week. So on suspension, carried. Councillor Wilkinson, seconded by Councillor Hubie. If you'd like to introduce the motion, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The motion is to name the town centre park, which is in the central core of Canada. It was part of the lands that were accumulated by Bill Terron to create a whole city. And he used to take his people visiting, he used to take it there because it's a little bit higher up. And it's where Canada eventually wanted to build their city hall, but we don't need it for that anymore. So we've made a very large park there, and we're just getting into the process. We have a public meeting later in May to start the process for what we're going to put into that park. So it's a very appropriate time to get it named, and the community association that is organizing the event on Monday night at the Brook Street has a tribute to Bill, as after we could have the park named after him. And so it's because of the timing, I asked staff if we could do it at this point. And city staff, I want to thank them for working with me to put this motion together for you and to support me in moving in this direction. And I'd ask for council to also support it so I can announce it on Monday night at the tribute.
Okay. Anyone else wish to speak to the item? Councillor Hubie as the seconder.
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No, just I fully support the councillor's motion and think it's a very appropriate area to name after the late Mr. Terron. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you. On the motion, carried. Are there any other motions requiring suspension of the rules of procedure? No. Notice the motion for consideration of subsequent meeting. Avis de motion pour examen à réunion subséquente. Councillor Monette, seconded by Councillor Tierney. Craft beer, one more time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, this is another motion for the festival, and it's a special events motion that is carried pretty well every time that there is a festival. I'll just read one whereas, and therefore, whereas subsection 3.2 of the Ontario Regulation 38991 as amended under Liquor License Act provides prescribed special occasions for the purpose from special occasion permits, SOPs, includes a public event designated by the Municipal Council as an event of municipal significance. Therefore, be it as resolved that the Council declare the Orleans Craft Beer Festival an event of municipal significance for the purpose of special occasion permits submitted by the event organizer pursuant to the Ontario Regulation 38991 as amended.
Okay, we'll deal with that at the next meeting. The next notice of motion is by Councillor Monette as well, seconded by Councillor Tierney. with respect to naming a park, 18A in Cardinal Creek. Councillor Monette, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas a new park is being constructed in Cardinal Creek community of Orleans known as Park 18A, and whereas the Cardinal Creek Community Association has consulted with local residents on their preferred choices of naming for the new park, and whereas Coyote Trail Park reflects a more naturalized design features of this park, including walking paths and trails, and whereas coyotes have been observed in the area by residents, and whereas Coyote Trail Park was the most popular name voted by local residents for the new park, and whereas the park is scheduled for completion in the fall of 2018, and approval of the name at this time will allow the name to be incorporated into the design signage currently being prepared, and therefore be it resolved that the Community Protective Services recommend that Council approve Coyote Trail Park as the name for Park 18A. I would also like to congratulate Cardinal Creek Association for all their hard work on this park, as well as Councillor Black and Mayor Watson for your support in moving the park along. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Great, thank you. So we'll deal with that in the next meeting. Are there any other notice of motion for consideration at our next meeting? No. Motion to introduce bylaws. Motion portant présentation de règlement. Councillor Nussbaum, please.
That the bylaws listed on the agenda under motion to introduce bylaws, 3 readings, be read and passed.
On the motion, carried. Confirmation bylaw, règlement de ratification. Conseiller Nussbaum, please.
That the following bylaw be read and passed to confirm the proceedings of the council meeting of April 25th, 2018.
On the motion, carry. We've received no written inquiries. Before we adjourn, Councillor Fleury reminded me we have a very exciting opening on Saturday at 11 o'clock. The beautiful new Ottawa Art Gallery is open. It's going to be open to the public for the first time. As you know, the folks started to move in December of last year, and they've been setting up what is promising to be one of the most spectacular exhibitions of Group of 7 paintings in the world, quite frankly, because we have one of the largest Group of 7 paintings donated by the Firestone family. And it's open, free of charge, to come and view the Ottawa Art Gallery. And as you know, this was a great partnership with Les Germain Hotels and a condominium project and a retrofit of Arts Court as well, which is underway. So I hope to see many of you and many members of the public who can come. C'est vraiment un édifice très important.
It is a very important building for the community, the artistic community and cultural community.
Those of us who have had the opportunity to go on a couple of tours from time to time recognize what a landmark and significant building this will be. And as you know, we've been working probably over a decade to get a new Ottawa Art Gallery, because we've only been able to display about 2% of the collection at any one time because of a lack of space. So that is taking place on Daly Avenue. It's just behind the Rideau Centre. The doors open at 11 o'clock on Saturday for the public meeting. So we hope many of you can attend and celebrate with our arts, culture, and heritage communities. So motion to adjourn, please, Councillor Nussbaum.
That the proceedings of the City Council meeting of April 25th, 2018 be adjourned.
Carried. And thank you to our great mayors. They did a great job, and it wasn't too boring, okay? Right? No? Okay. Thank you.